This week, we talk about the continuing beef between Epic and Apple and how Remedy might be messing up with this next-gen console release of Control. So let's go ahead together as a people and check it out. And welcome to another sensational Saturday. This is Mike, and this is Mike Takes It Out, and I'm here to get him, fit him, and hit him with this tech news. Yes, that was a YouTube freestyle by me. You're welcome. And what are we talking about today? Well, last week I talked about the whole beef between Apple and Epic. So if you haven't been following the news, last week I did a video on this, but to go over it briefly, Epic basically broke Apple's App Store guidelines along with Google's by adding their own payment method and charging less money if you pay through them than if you use Apple Pay or Google Pay. Yeah, and basically both Apple and Google removed them from the App Store, and they pretty much immediately were like, we're suing both of y'all, and they put out this Apple parody ad based off of Apple's 1984 commercial, which was also based off the movie. It was like a parody within a parody. It was crazy. It was like Inception for an ad. This week it's just gone to another level, and it's so beyond words. Like I can't even explain it. I literally can't even explain what happened. Gangster Mike? Alright, man, we ain't got time for this whackness. Gangster Mike here. Let me just tell you what's been going on with this beef here between Apple and Epic and why them motherfuckers in here throwing down. Alright, we ain't got time to be sugarcoating this shit. This is Gangster Mike. We do a real style in here, and they've been up in the streets beefing. So let me tell you what happened this. So yeah, they pulled an app, you know. Apple was like, yeah, I mean, you ain't gonna be on our store and disrespecting my click like that, you know what I mean? We pulling your app. You violate our rules, we violate your life expectancy. Because it's gonna be less, because you're making less money. So you can't support yourself financially because we're removing your app, we're removing the whole Fortnite, and that's when they got out the hashtag, you know, free Fortnite campaign. And I didn't even know Fortnite had been to prison, but apparently it has. Like, you know, I was rocking my free city shirts back in the day, back when Nelly was the thing, you know, my free Beanie Siegel and all that, you know, someone goes to prison, you close to you gotta do a free, you know, free whoever that is. But now people out here rocking the free Fortnite, the hashtag free Fortnite and everything. I didn't even know Fortnite was that gangster or even old enough to go to prison, but I guess it is. You know, I don't know what Fortnite did to go to prison. Well, I do know, you know, they had their own payment method. You know, it was kind of gangster on their part, but them, you know, went right to prison. So break this down for real. They, you know, free Fortnite, people pouring out they, you know, bottles and all that stuff from respect. And then Apple, they pulled some more gangster. They were like, you know what, you did a whole ad on us and all this stuff. We gonna pull all your developer tools. You ain't gonna be developing. Alright, and we pulling all your apps. Effective August 28th. So take that, have a little week to sit on that and think about what you did while you losing this money, you losing this cheddar, this bread. Alright? Gangster. Then guess what? Epic filed back and they're like, we gonna file a one more again lawsuit, put a hold on it, because you're trying to retaliate. You retaliating, alright? You're a retaliated hater. So we file another injunction, freeze, be like, bam. So you can't even remove Fortnite no more. You gotta put that back up there, and you're gonna have to put our tools in place, and leave them there. Leave them there. You can't retaliate for this lawsuit. So that's what's going on. They did file another lawsuit. It's so gangster in there. And they was like, yo, removing these developer tools is gonna hurt everybody that got an app that's based off of Unreal Engine or anything that Epic produces. And Apple was like, I don't care, you know, my family eating. If your family ain't eating, that's on you. And if your family's family ain't eating, that's definitely your fault. You should have thought about that before you got greedy. And they pulled the development apps for the Mac too, or they're going to. That's how gangster this has gotten, cuz. News Mike, back to you. It's too gangster in here. Thank you, Gangster Mike, for that explanation. Yeah, so basically Apple kind of responded because Epic was really putting them out, and they're pulling their developer tools effective August 28th, but Epic's filing a lawsuit to try to block it. That's the latest that's going on. And to poke even more fun at Apple, Epic's doing a free Fortnite Cup. It's basically a tournament with prizes to be like, you know, promote the hashtag free Fortnite from the tyranny of the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, but mainly the Apple App Store, because at least on Android you have alternatives. And I understand, like, I don't think I really covered enough last week that it really is a problem on iOS, the fact that there's no other ways to get apps on the App Store other than through Apple directly, and you're just kind of left with like complying with their policies. Like, honestly, a company like Epic, I think they can afford to pay the 30%. But if this is a smaller business and you're forced to give up 30% of your revenue, like that could really be like your whole, that could be the whole amount that you make off of, you know, whatever product it is that you're selling. So it really is kind of a big deal, and there does need to be some kind of way to at least direct people to, you know, an external site or something that developers can put in if they don't want to comply and use Apple's payment methods, or, you know, a way for them to use their own payment methods, or just Apple charge less money. So I do want to emphasize that there's not really a right or wrong in this situation, because Epic is just kind of being greedy. Ultimately, if what Epic's doing turns out to be something good, then that's great, but they're still acting very petty and childish about the whole situation. And then Apple, of course, is Apple, so they're just very stubborn about everything, and that's pretty much where we're at. So they're just going to sue each other into oblivion. Well, mainly Epic's going to keep suing them, and then these lawsuits are going to go on for the next 17 years, and then 17 years later, it's going to be like Fortnite's back on iOS, and then no one's even going to be playing it anymore. And I do have one more story this week. I've been trying to stick to one, but just because of the craziness of what's going on with Remedy and them bringing control to next-gen consoles. Now, basically, about probably like a week and a half ago at this point, they said that people who bought the Ultimate Edition of Control will get like the next-gen version for free. So basically, you'll get the PS5 and Xbox Series X version for free. But everybody else is SOL. So literally, you have to have the Ultimate Edition. That means like if you bought the base game and bought all the DLC and all the other stuff that comes with it, it's still not the Ultimate Edition, so you still do not get the free upgrade. And so to make matters worse, a couple of days ago, they put out this clarification about why they did it that literally didn't even address why they did it. It was like, oh, we had budget constraints, and you know, development cost money, and we wanted to figure out a fair way to do the upgrade, but there were blockers. They literally put blockers. What's a blocker? Like, what was that? What? The whole thing made no sense. So yeah, it really sucks, especially like, let's say someone who maybe just bought the game recently and they just didn't even know about this, and they bought the base game, and now they're just like, well, I would have paid for the Ultimate Edition if I'd known that I would get the free upgrade. But like, yeah, there's no upgrade path from anybody that has any other edition of the game. You literally have to have the Ultimate Edition to get the free upgrade. The stupidity. This will probably just be a short-term problem, like I mentioned in my Xbox versus PS5 video, because over the next couple of years, there'll probably be some cross-gen games, but eventually it'll just move to the new systems, and there won't be cross-gen games that have this issue. But it's really a crappy way to handle it. Like, this is almost worse than them just not even offering an upgrade path at all and just being like, you have to rebuy the game. Like, it's literally worse. Like, people would have been, you know, disappointed, but at least they would have been like, hey, we had to do a lot of enhancements on this new hardware, that's why we have to charge for the game again, and it would have made sense. But then doing it this way is just like, well, you know, we're gonna reward people that got the expensive version of the game but not the cheap version. It's really stupid. You know what, I'm done talking. Gangster Mike, take us out. Alright, Gangster Mike back in the building. So basically, the breakdown with this Remedy with the control that was like, yo, you ain't buy the Ultimate? Dog, you ain't really support us from day one anyway if you ain't cop the Ultimate. So you. Go get your own You can rebuy the game. You was broke in the first place, why you ain't buy the Ultimate. You broke now, that's why you complaining about buying the one on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. You broke. It ain't my fault you ain't got money. If you ain't been down since day one, if you ain't throw down with the coin, with the cashola, if you ain't really throw down like that, like, nah, we ain't gonna have your back, dog. You better go ahead and cop that full price version. Go ahead and rebuy it and show you really love us, and then maybe next time, maybe with our next game cut, you might get a free upgrade if you buy the base game plus a DLC. But for now, nah, we ain't after y'all. Y'all weren't supporting us when we was little fish. when we was little fish, when Control, you know, it just came out, you was up there doubting and stuff. You're like, I'm gonna just buy the standard edition discount. You probably got the retail copy from Walmart when it was on clearance. Now look at you. Now look at you. Go ahead and play the backwards compatibility version. Yeah, it's gonna run a little bit better, but you ain't gonna have no ray tracing. You won't be able to see it.